right. So next we're going to talk about a kite. Remember, with a kite, the long sides match and the short sides match, which means the angle in between the long and the short match. Keep in mind, these do not necessarily match. They technically can, but they do not necessarily match. So, you gotta find it. I don't know. I don't have page numbers on this. So with that in mind, we're gonna do this. So y is gonna match to 146. So that's an easy 146. Over here, we're gonna add up all of them. And since it's a four-sided shape, I know all four-sided shapes should equal 360. So 360 equals x plus 149 plus y, which is 149, or 146, oops. 146 plus 47. 47. So if 146. Yeah, because the y is also 146.
No.
Yeah. So it's going to be 146 times 2 when I finish them, yeah, 47. That's going to add up to 339. So 360 equals x plus 339. Subtract 339 on both sides. Your answer is 21. So this is 21. Okay. All right, close the door. Come on. So a kite, remember, the long and short sides are equal to each other, okay? Next one. This is a rhombus. A rhombus is all the sides are equal and it's four-sided. So since these sides are equal, I can set them equal to each other. So 2x plus 20 equals 2x plus 20.
Why 2x?
It's 2x over here.
No, but you don't.
Oh, I think I remember this on the test. This, based off the question, this is, oh, no, we know the answer to this.
No, never mind. Because you did.
Minus 20, or we minus the smallest x. So minus x minus x. 20 equals x plus 20. Minus 20 minus 20. 0 equals x. 0 is a number. That's perfectly fine. It's 0. I remember people got tripped up on that. 2 minus 1 is 1. Guys in the back, shh, sit down. Kayla, it will be, it's not only it's recorded, it will be posted. Okay? Yeah, I know. It was a gift. Next one. Yes. So PS is 6x plus 3. RT is 7x plus 2, or minus 2. Because it's a rectangle, and only because it's a rectangle, that means that the whole line over here, PS, should equal the whole line over here, RT. Since they equal to each other, you can set them equal to each other. So 6x plus 3 equals 7x minus 2. Subtract the smallest x, in this case 6x. 6x. 3 equals x minus 2, plus 2 on both sides. 5 equals x. So this is 5. Identify the most specific term. So in this case, these are parallel and these are right angles. Since these are right angles, we could figure it out that this is also right angles. Because these are either, you could think of them as supplementary or equal to them. So these are all right angles. Since they're all right angles, the best thing we could say is it's a rectangle. Remember, a rectangle is all angles match. A rhombus is all sides match. And a square is both true. So like number 19, all the sides match and all the angles match.
Wait, I have a question.
Square.
Will you ask us another one on the test because this is what's on the guide. So would you just ask us these ones?
These are another shape. I could do like, no.
Is this shorter?
Then all this stapled together is shorter. Because some of these questions are more redundant than I would have done. No, it's not that much shorter. I could give you the final count either tomorrow or Monday.
How long do we have for the test?
So like this one over here, Nicole, for this one, here, the best thing I could say, this is a rhombus. Because I can see the sides are the same, but I don't have enough information to say if the angles are the same.
Like,
Like I have different shapes of it. And then probably in the YouTube video focused on the test directly, like of that test, is very useful in terms of all those versions. Because I probably mentioned all the versions in the video review. But because this is a general final test review or final exam review, I'm not going to go too much in detail in each section. Okay, everyone's favorite, trigonometry. So trigonometry, the first thing you need to do is be able to identify opposites, adjacent, hypotenuse. If you're at angle A, your opposite side is always across the room, or if you're sitting in a corner, across the wall. So in this case, this is going to be your opposite. Your hypotenuse is always across the right angle. So this is going to be the hypotenuse. And then right next to you, because adjacent means next to you, is your adjacent. Remember, if it's a question between hypotenuse or adjacent, because technically you're adjacent to the hypotenuse also, but hypotenuse is a more important title. It's like someone is named Mr. or Doctor, you call him Doctor because it's a more important title. So AB in this case is the hypotenuse. BC in this case is the opposite. And AC in this case is the adjacent. Next one, give the ratio of the trig function. So if I say sine of A, remember the key word SOHCAHTOA. So SOHCAHTOA, I don't promote tattoos, but if you ever get a tattoo, this is what you should get, okay?
I'm gonna get a tattoo today.
Don't do that actually, because then now I'm recorded and it'll be my fault. So sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. So opposite over hypotenuse.
are you gonna give us this?
No, SOHCAHTOA is something you should remember forever in your life. So SOHCAHTOA, sine of A. So I'm standing at A, okay? I'm standing at A. That's what the A part is. So I need the opposite of A, which across from A is 20. And I need the hypotenuse of the triangle. In this case, that is 29. The next one's cosine of A. So that's cos is adjacent over hypotenuse. So still standing at A, my adjacent is 21, while my hypotenuse is 29.
Do you do it all based off the right angle?
You base it off the angle you're standing on. In this case, I'm standing on A, because it says A here. That's always true, yeah, actually. And the angle you're looking at. So tan is opposite over adjacent. So opposite is going to be across 20 over adjacent 21. Yo.
The same day in English program.
Wow.
Yeah, well, let me get that together, okay?
Yeah, because I kind of wanted to study.
Yeah, that's very fair.
Wait, what was the final?
All right, next one. I want to find what AC is. So in order to find AC, what I'm going to do is I have this side and this side. So it looks like compared to 38 degrees, I have an opposite side and I have a hypotenuse. So I'm kind of like reverse engineering it. Which one uses opposite or hypotenuse? So, or sine. So I need sine of the angle, in this case, 38 degrees, equals opposite, which is 12.5, over the hypotenuse, which is x.
Are you gonna be on Monday?
Yeah, why not? Monday's a normal day.
No, but it's going on Monday.
Oh, no.
Senior trip.
It's because if my final wasn't the first final, maybe I would have, but this is the first one people want to study math right away, So in this case, what I could do is cross multiply.
Divide by 1.
I'm just putting it over 1 as a fraction. So I'm going to multiply both sides by x. So I get x sine 38 equals 12.5. Then I'm going to divide sine 38 on both sides. Yeah, but you got to know what you're putting into the calculator.
Nah.
Wait, how do you know what you're
So 12.5 divided by sine 38. 20.3. So it's 20.3. So the only thing I had to do here is to set it up. After that, the calculator doesn't work. By the way, you can't do it without a
Wait, but
calculator.
how do you put that in the calculator? I don't know.
Oh,
Like, how do you do it equals 12.5? That.
so I do 12.5 divided by, I click sine because of sine, 38.
Bless you.
Okay? Let me just check how many degrees here. Right?
But it's equal to all of them.
Hmm?
Never mind.
Yeah. Next one. Oh wait, that's not next on the page. This one. So we have an adjacent, 20.3, and hypotenuse. So adjacent hypotenuse, I'm reverse engineering it. I need ca, which is cosine. So cosine of 59 degrees equals adjacent x over hypotenuse 16. So in this case, you times 16 on both sides. So 16 times cosine 59 equals x, which means I'm going to go to my calculator. 16
I
times,
don't know what the formula is, like, which one would you use it for?
like, it's sine, cosine, tangent, you're saying?
Yeah.
I use SOHCAHTOA. So in this case, I look at 59, and I have an adjacent, and I have a hypotenuse. So that's going to be ca. Yeah. So it'll be cosine, okay? 8.2, 8.2. All right. I typed it into the calculator. So 16 times cosine 59. Next one. This is a little reverse. I have that missing angle here, and I have a opposite, and I have an adjacent. So opposite, adjacent, OA, that tells me TOA. So I got tan of x, I don't know what x is, equals opposite, 12, over adjacent, 6. So tan x equals, if you could simplify, I would simplify, but if not, that's no problem. 2. Now, how do I get rid of the tan from the x?
Divide by n.
We can't do that.
And multiply by 2.
Not multiply by 2.
So what about a 10?
You can't multiply by tan x because that would just make tan x squared.
Well, don't you flip it or something?
It's something like that. We have to use this, like, I guess it's the opposite, which is tan negative 1. That will cancel out the tans here, but I have to technically do it to both sides. So tan negative 1. So it becomes x equals tan. Notice it's negative 1, 2.
Could you put in 12?
You could put in 12%. So it's going to be, when you get tan negative 1, you have to click second tan, and it'll give you tan negative 1. So you got to click second tan. And then 2, if you put 12 over 6, you should still get the same answer. 63.4 degrees. Next one, I have looks like an opposite, and I have a hypotenuse. So SOHCAHTOA, so I need an OH, that's so. Sine x equals 2 over 3. X equals sine negative 1, 2 over 3. Remember, I needed negative 1 to get rid of the sign, away from x. So it's going to be second sine 2 divided by 3. 41.8. Remember, if you want the negative ones, you got to click second on your calculator. It's a multiple choice, so they'll all have degrees.
Oh, wait, all of them are multiple choice? Every single question?
Yeah, for geometry, there's no graphing, so yeah.
Even this?
ABCD.
Everything.
Technically, you don't even have to study. You just have to have a good
Then don't say that. I don't want to get people
I was gonna
ideas.
do it.
Who's knowing? I'm not knowing.
All right, this one, we've got to find all the missing parts of the triangle. All I have is this is 51 degrees, and this is 9. Now, first let's do the easiest thing, which is, if I know that's 51 degrees, and I know something about all triangles add up to what? The angles, at least.
They're all equal to each other.
They're all equal to 180, not to each other, but to 180, which happens to be,
Are all sides? Oh.
not all sides are equal to a triangle. There's different shapes of triangles, or sizes of triangles. So this is 51. So this I know should equal 180 when I add it up. So 90 plus 51 is 141. Subtract that from 180. I'll do this here. 180 minus 141 equals 39. So now I know this angle is 39. But with that in mind, we have this 51 degrees. This 9 to the 51 degrees is the opposite. And CA is the adjacent, which means I need to use opposite adjacent. That tells me TOA. So I'm going to do tan 51 equals opposite, which is 9, over adjacent, which is X for in this case, because I don't know what it is yet. To make your life easier, you could have swapped the positions in this case, because it's on the bottom. That only works because it's on the bottom of a fraction.
This is 9 in English.
Tan 51. So we take the calculator. 9 divided by tan 51. 7.28 or 7.3 rounds up to. So AC 7.3. And then I have a hypotenuse over here. Again, I have 51 degrees. And I have an adjacent, or opposite, I'm sorry. So opposite or hypotenuse, that's a SO. Sine 51 equals opposite, 9, over hypotenuse, X. You can swap the positions when it's on the bottom. 9 over sine 51. 9 divided by sine 51. 11.6. Random blank page. All right, labeling stuff. 11.6. This one, you don't have a word box, but it's multiple choice, so you only can choose like out of the options, I guess. So in this situation, we got to name these correctly. Point C in this case is a center. AD, it goes from the edge to the edge of the circle. Good, and it passes through the middle, so it's a diameter. Now, AB with arrows. AB with arrows means I go through, in and out of the circle. With arrows, it's a secant. I'll skip to number 6. But if it's not all the way through the circle, it just stops at the edges of the circle, then it's just a chord.
So then is AB just support?
So AB, like with flat line, is a chord. Let's see. FG, from F to G, it's the center to the edge of the circle. So that's a radius. And point D, it's a point at the edge of the circle or a point at a tangent line. So it's a point of tangency. Is this the test I gave you this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
No, it had 2022, so I don't know why.
Yeah, you gave it.
Okay. For this one, you got to find the common tangents.
There's 2 for that one, and then there's 4.
Good. So this one has 2, and this one could go this way, this way, this way, and that way. So 4. Good. The video that was focused on this test, I remember I went over all of them. So. All right, this one. Before I even fill out the table, let me just fill out all the numbers I could find here. For example, if this is 40 degrees and this is 70 degrees, I know this is a diameter, which means this is only 180. which means 40 plus 70 must add up to, take away 180, must be this part here. So 40 plus 70 is 110. 110 minus 180, this happens to be also 70. Now I heard somebody said it. Over here, because these are vertical angles, I can automatically tell you that this is 40. So in this case, this is 180. If you take away 40 from 180, you have 140. 140. All right. So we have all the numbers, which means now we can do pretty much everything. So D to E. So D to E is already written to us. That's 70, and that is a minor. Remember, the breakpoints is minor is less than 180. We usually think of acute. Some people get that confused. But less than 180 is minor. So even though if you have something like, well, BE is 40, which is still minor. But if you have something like BF, which is 140, it's still minor. If I A to D, 70, still minor. AEB, so I pass A, I get to B, I got to make sure I pass E along the way. So that's 180, and it's a semicircle. So the like exactly half a circle is a semicircle. And then DBF, so I go from D to the B to the F. So it's 70 plus 40 plus 140. I got to add all the pieces I passed by. It's going to be major. Not in this question, no. So 70 plus 40 plus 140. So 180 plus 70, which is 250. I'll leave it here for a second.
Is it major above 180?
Above 180. Below 360, technically, though. Is it? It says 2022 on it, so I don't know.
We had this. I remember we had exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, don't go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Okay, then it's the exact test I gave you. Some of you probably still have your test, so maybe check it out.
Probably just do it.
Okay.
All right, next one. Is this a point of tangency? Now, the rule of a point of tangency is that it makes a right angle with its radius, with a radius. So in order to prove this is a right angle, we want to see if this forms a right triangle. So what we're going to do is check using an old skill, which we did yesterday, I guess how old it is. But 3 squared plus 6 squared should equal 7 squared. Remember, if it was less, it was acute. If it was more, it was obtuse. If it's exactly right, it's right. Or exactly equal, it's right. 9 plus 36 equals 49. Uh-oh. 9 plus 36 is not 49 for sure. 45. 49 and 45 are not the same number. So if the question was, is this a point in tangency? This is the work to show it. No, it's not a point in tangency, okay? That's the next question. Next question, let's figure this out. If this part here is 125, then this part over here, because the chord is the same length, has to be the same arc. So it's also 125. And then this part over here is part of a whole circle. And a whole circle is 360. So we do 360 minus my other parts, 250. So that's 110. Next one. If this is 60, JM, which has the same chord, is 60. Or that's not chord, but follows the same rule. So that's 60. And then KL or LK over here, this is a semicircle, right? So if this is 180 a semicircle, and this is 60, this must be the leftover. 120. 180 minus 60 is 120. So it's 120. Wow.
Isn't the other one just 125?
This one is 125. This one's 125. I don't believe we do. So what I'm going to do is during the day, I'm going to finish this and then post it up.
I come during lunch.
Sure. Let me check if I'm not busy during lunch. If I'm here, we could do it.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you guys for coming.